Little girl in a big city apartment looks out her window. All she sees are tall buildings and wishes that she had a pet. She turns on her bedside lamp and climbs into bed. As she closes her eyes, she dreams of a magical place filled with all sorts of animals. In this fantasy land, there's a little girl just like our protagonist who's playing near a lake. Suddenly, a bunny rabbit hops out of the bushes. The bunny is scared because it's being chased by a mean fox. The little girl notices the distressed bunny and rushes over to comfort it. She takes it home and gives it some carrots to eat and drink. The bunny happily munches on the carrots and then suddenly grows to an enormous size, towering over the house. The little girl is initially frightened, but quickly realizes that the giant bunny is friendly and kind. The two become best friends and have many adventures together. They go on a boat ride and visit an island where they meet various animals who are all grateful for the little girl's kindness. Along the way, the girl learns valuable lessons about friendship and compassion. Eventually, it's time for the girl to return home, but she knows she will never forget her adventures with the giant bunny rabbit. Once upon a time, in a big city, there was a little girl who lived in a tall building. Every day when she looked out of her window, all she saw were other tall buildings. She dreamed of having a pet, but her mom always told her, "We don't have enough space for a pet in our apartment." One day, the little girl got a present from her mom. It was a beautiful lamp. The mom said, "This lamp will make you happy if you get bored." The little girl thanked her mom and turned on the lamp. Suddenly, the room began to glow with a magical light. The little girl walked over to her bed and climbed under the covers. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I wish I had a pet." When she opened her eyes, she found herself in a magical place. There were beautiful flowers everywhere, and the sky was filled with colorful birds. The little girl got up and started to explore. She walked over to a nearby lake and saw a little bunny rabbit sitting on the shore. The bunny was crying because it was being chased by a hungry fox. Without thinking twice, the little girl ran over to the bunny and picked it up. She hugged it tightly and said, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." The little girl took the bunny back to her house and gave it some water and carrots to eat. The bunny happily munched on the carrots and suddenly grew to an enormous size. The little girl screamed in surprise, but the giant bunny only smiled at her. "Don't be afraid," said the giant bunny. "I wanted to thank you for saving my life. I'm not a ferocious beast. I'm a magical talking animal who can grant you one wish." The little girl thought for a moment. "I want to keep you as my pet," she said. And so the giant bunny became the little girl's pet. He played with her in the garden, went for walks in the forest, and even helped her with her homework. Every day was filled with fun and adventure. One day, the little girl and her giant bunny were taking a boat ride on the lake when they saw an island in the distance. "Let's go over there," suggested the little girl. So they steered the boat towards the island. As they approached the shore, they heard a loud roar. "What was that?" asked the little girl, a bit scared. "It's just a friendly monster," said the giant bunny. "He might look scary, but he's really a softie." The little girl and the giant bunny went ashore and soon found the source of the roar. It was a large monster with sharp teeth and claws, but when he saw the little girl, he stopped roaring and smiled. "Hello?" said the monster. "Can I help you?" The little girl explained that she and the giant bunny were looking for someone to play with. "Well, I'd love to play with you," said the monster, "but I'm too busy guarding these animals." The little girl noticed that the monster was surrounded by a group of scared animals. "What's wrong?" she asked. "This island used to be a happy place," said the monster, "but recently a wicked witch has cast a spell on us. She's turned us into these animals, and only the most courageous creature can break the spell." The little girl knew she had to do something. She walked over to the animals and started talking to them. She asked them riddles, made them laugh, and even taught them how to play. The animals loved spending time with the little girl and soon forgot about their troubles. Suddenly, a cackle echoed through the forest. So the little girl and the giant bunny turned around and saw a wicked witch standing behind them. The witch was holding a staff and her eyes glowed with an evil light. "You've been meddling in my affairs," she said angrily. "Now I'm going to turn you into an animal too." The little girl wasn't scared. She stood up straight and said, "That's not very nice, and besides, you can't do that to me." The witch waved her staff, but nothing happened. "What? Why isn't the spell working?" she cried. The little girl smiled and said, "Because you can't cast a spell on someone who's kind and brave." The witch tried again, but the spell didn't work. She was too weak to fight the little girl. The little girl took the witch's staff and waved it over the animals. With a flick of her wrist, each animal was transformed back into a human. The humans cheered and thanked the little girl. The monster was so happy that he picked her up and swung her around in his arms. "You're such a hero," he said. "How can we ever repay you?" The little girl smiled. "Just let me play with your animals some more," she said. And so the little girl spent the rest of the day playing with the animals. They played hide and seek, tag, and even had a picnic lunch. When the sun began to set, it was time for the little girl to go home. She said goodbye to her new friends and climbed aboard the boat with the giant bunny. As they rowed away from the island, the little girl felt a sense of sadness. She didn't want to leave her new friends, but she knew she had to go. The giant bunny sensed her sadness and nuzzled her hand. "Don't be sad," he said. "You'll always have your memories and the knowledge that you made a difference in those animals' lives." The little girl nodded, wiping away a tear. As the boat approached the shore, the giant bunny nudged the little girl. "Remember," he said, "even though we may be different, we can still be friends." The little girl looked at the giant bunny and smiled. "Of course," she said, "we'll always be friends." The little girl stepped out of the boat and hugged the giant bunny goodbye. "Thank you for everything," she whispered. Then she turned and walked away. As she walked, the little girl began to feel strange. She could hear the sounds of traffic and the distant hum of machines. She looked down and saw that she was no longer wearing her magical clothes. Instead, she was in her pajamas. The little girl realized that she was back in her bedroom. She looked over at her bedside table and saw the magical lamp glowing softly. The little girl smiled as she remembered her amazing adventure. She may not have had a pet to take care of, but she had something even better, a giant bunny rabbit who was her best friend. And who knows what other magical adventures awaited her. The end.